My brother always said, "You're useless. Nobody depends on you." When he asked me to cover his shift so he could propose, I did. To his girlfriend, who told me yes. My name's Evan, 28, male, and if I'm being honest, I've always been the spare part of my family. My brother, Ryan, 31, male, has been the golden child since day one. He was the quarterback, the prom king, the one who got the job everyone bragged about at family dinners. And me? I was the quiet kid who drew in the margins, got decent grades, and worked warehouse shifts nobody noticed. Ryan used to throw it in my face all the time. He'd lean back with that smug half grin and say, "You're useless, man. Nobody depends on you. Nobody ever will." It stung in ways I didn't want to admit. He wasn't just mocking me. He was telling me the story of my life. Even when I tried harder, landed steady work, kept my bills paid, he found ways to cut me down. Reliable Evan, but never important Evan. Despite all that, I kept the peace. I covered for him when he blew off chores as a teen. Drove him home drunk in college so he wouldn't get arrested. Lent him money I knew I'd never see again. He was my brother, and even if he treated me like an afterthought, I thought that's what brothers did. You show up. So when he called me last month, voice crackling with excitement, saying he had the biggest night of his life planned and needed me to cover his shift at the restaurant, I didn't even hesitate. He wanted to propose to his girlfriend, Emily, 27 female. Emily, who was sweet, grounded, and honestly one of the only people who ever treated me like I mattered. She'd ask how work was going, remembered my birthday without Ryan reminding her, laughed at my dumb jokes. The kind of kindness that made you forget how invisible you usually felt. "Bro, I need you," Ryan said. Those 3 words. I'd waited years to hear him say them without a sneer attached. It felt validating, like maybe he finally saw me as someone he could count on. So I put on his uniform, punched into his shift, and went about bussing tables and refilling waters while he was supposedly off making his big romantic move. But then halfway through the night, everything went sideways. Emily showed up at the restaurant. Alone. She walked right up to me, nervous smile, clutching something in her hand. She thought I was Ryan, and before I could even open my mouth, she blurted it out. Yes. My answer's yes. Her eyes were bright, her hands shaking as she held out a little note. Something Ryan had apparently slipped into her bag, telling her to meet him here. Except it was me standing there in his place. And I just froze. Because in that moment, it didn't feel like a mix-up. It felt like life was finally testing me. What happens when someone depends on you, Evan? And God help me, I didn't correct her. Emily stood there in front of me, cheeks flushed, her whole body trembling with adrenaline, and I swear time slowed to a crawl. She looked at me like I was the most important person in the world, like the words she'd been dying to say were finally out, and now she could breathe again. Emily. My throat closed up around her name. I should have corrected her right there. I should have laughed awkwardly, explained Ryan had sent me in his place, clarified everything. But her eyes. God, those eyes were lit up like I just handed her the universe. And for once, me, not Ryan, was standing at the center of someone's joy. So I just nodded. Barely. And that was enough. She let out this shaky laugh, wiped at the corner of her eye, and whispered, "I was so scared you'd say no." Then, before I could process anything, she leaned forward and hugged me. Tight. Like she was clinging to something that mattered. And I hugged her back. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would crack my ribs. I could smell her shampoo, feel the tremor of relief in her shoulders. All I could think was, this is what it feels like to be depended on. The second she pulled back, the guilt hit me like a truck. Ryan's voice in my head, "You're useless, Evan. Nobody depends on you." Except here she was, depending on me. Except it was built on a lie. My stomach twisted, but my body betrayed me. I didn't say a word. Emily didn't stay long. She left me with this dazzling smile, saying she couldn't wait to tell everyone together, and that she was going to start calling her mom as soon as she got home. I just stood there, shell-shocked, clutching the tray of water glasses I'd been holding when she walked in. The glasses rattled, one nearly tipping over like even the universe was asking me what the hell I'd just done. The rest of my shift was a blur. I went through the motions, bussed plates, wiped tables, answered customers, but inside I was spiraling. Ryan had no idea. He thought he was orchestrating the perfect proposal, probably down on one knee somewhere right that second, while Emily was walking around thinking I'd just agreed to marry her. When I got home that night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, every muscle tight, replaying her voice saying yes over and over. My phone buzzed at 1:13 a.m., a text from Ryan. She said, "Yes, bro." She said, "Yes. You came through for me big time." And that's when the floor fell out from under me, because in his head, he'd pulled it off. She'd accepted him. And in her head, she'd just promised her life to me. Two different realities, colliding. And I was right in the middle. Do you want me to take the next step into how this secret starts unraveling? Emily telling family, Ryan planning the celebration, or slow burn it further with Evan's inner torment before things explode? Don't forget to subscribe. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I woke up to 3 missed calls and a flood of texts from Ryan. She cried, man. She actually cried. Her mom already knows. Whole family's thrilled. We're doing dinner at her place tomorrow to celebrate. You gotta come. You're the reason this all worked out. I sat there staring at the screen, my heart in my throat. The reason this all worked out. He had no clue how badly I'd already screwed it. Then Emily texted me. Just me. Not a group chat. Not accidental. Direct. Last night felt perfect. You don't know how long I've been waiting for that moment. I swear my hands shook so bad I nearly dropped my phone. She thought she was talking to Ryan, but she'd messaged me. My name at the top of the thread, not his. She hadn't noticed. I typed 3 different replies and deleted them all. Finally, I sent back the safest thing I could think of. Yeah, perfect. I hated myself instantly, but I couldn't stop. The celebration dinner at Emily's place was a nightmare. Ryan strutted in with his chest puffed out, telling the story of how he'd set it all up, how smooth his little note had been, how she'd walked right into the perfect proposal. He had everyone hanging on his words like he was some mastermind. Emily sat across the table, cheeks flushed, stealing glances at me every time Ryan bragged. At one point, while he was describing how he had asked her to meet at the restaurant, she actually smiled at me. Not at him, me, like we were in on some private joke. I nearly choked on my drink. Ryan didn't notice. Of course he didn't. He was too busy toasting himself, getting louder with each glass of wine. He even leaned over at one point, slapped me on the back and said, "Couldn't have done it without my brother. Useless Evan finally came through." Everyone laughed. Even Emily, though when her eyes met mine again, there was something different there. Something questioning. After dinner, Ryan pulled me aside in the driveway. He reeked of alcohol but was buzzing with triumph. "See, bro, you had one job and you nailed it. You didn't screw it up for once. Maybe you're not as hopeless as I thought." He said it with a smirk, but I could tell he thought he was being generous. My jaw clenched so hard I thought my teeth might crack. He walked back to his car without even waiting for me to respond. Emily lingered on the porch. She waved goodnight, soft smile on her lips. That smile burned straight through me. When I got home, I finally let myself admit it. This wasn't just a misunderstanding anymore. A line had been crossed whether I meant it or not. And part of me, the part that had been starving for years under Ryan's shadow, didn't want to go back. The crack started small, like hairline fractures in glass. At first you don't notice, then suddenly the whole thing's ready to shatter. 2 days after the dinner, Emily called me. Not Ryan. Me. "Hey," she said, her voice warm but hesitant. I wanted to thank you again for how you said it that night. The way you looked at me when I said yes. I'll never forget it." I was sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at my bare walls, gripping the phone like it was the only thing keeping me upright. "Yeah," I said, trying to steady my voice. "It was something." She laughed, soft and genuine, and the sound cut me open. "You've always been different from Ryan, more grounded, more, I don't know, real. It makes me feel like I can trust you. I almost dropped the phone. Trust. That word landed like a blade. Because trust was the one thing I was burying under a lie every single day. Later that night, Ryan stormed into my apartment without knocking, drunk again, carrying a six-pack. You ready for my bachelor party, little bro? He collapsed onto my couch, cracked open a beer, and started rambling about Vegas, strippers, the works. He went on and on about how Emily was locked in now, and how even if she got cold feet, what's she gonna do? Say no after she already said yes? He laughed so hard he spilled beer on my carpet. Didn't even apologize. Just kicked his shoes off and kept talking. And I sat there, clenching my fists, thinking, she didn't say yes to you. She said yes to me. That night, something shifted. The guilt was still there, but now it was mixed with anger. Years of Ryan's sneers, his digs, his smug superiority. Useless Evan finally finding the one place where Ryan had no clue he wasn't the winner. And the more Ryan bragged, the more I realized I wasn't ready to give that up. The real explosion came a week later at Emily's. She'd invited me over under the excuse of helping her fix a loose cabinet door in the kitchen. Ryan was working late, supposedly, and she greeted me at the door with a smile that felt too loaded. While I was tightening the hinge, she leaned against the counter and said quietly, "That night, it didn't feel like Ryan. It felt like you. The way you held me, the way you looked at me. I keep replaying it in my head. Tell me I'm crazy." My wrench slipped, clattering against the tile. My pulse was so loud I thought she could hear it. And that's when I knew. She wasn't confused. Not anymore. She'd felt it too. I didn't answer her. Not right away. But my silence was louder than anything I could have said. And the door we both should have kept shut, cracked wide open. Update. Okay. Wow. I didn't expect my last post to blow up like it did. I read through hundreds of comments last night until my eyes burned, and I swear half of you want me to either confess immediately or disappear off the face of the earth. And then there's the other half who keep saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Which, yeah, fair. Some of you even DM'd me with some of the wildest revenge scenarios I've ever seen in my life. One guy legit told me to show up at Ryan's wedding wearing a tux and propose back to Emily just to watch the chaos unfold. Relax, man. I'm not that unhinged, yet. But here's the part that hit me. A lot of you said the same thing Emily did. That I'm nothing like Ryan. That maybe she wasn't just imagining it that night. That maybe the reason she's so fixated on me is because deep down, she already sees me differently than him. That scared me more than anything. Because it means this isn't just some mix-up anymore. It's something else. Something I can't undo. And to answer the top question, no, I haven't told Ryan. He still thinks he pulled off the perfect proposal. He even bragged to me yesterday about how he's already locked her in and how she's lucky to have a guy like him who knows how to take charge. I wanted to punch him in the throat. Instead, I just nodded and let him run his mouth. But Emily, she's been texting me. Not constantly, but enough. Subtle things. Little references to that night. Compliments that feel too pointed. And last night, she dropped this. Sometimes I think I said yes to the wrong brother. I stared at that text until my chest hurt. I didn't answer. I couldn't. So here I am, caught in this sick triangle I never asked for, but also never stopped. Ryan's still the same arrogant, oblivious bastard he's always been. Emily's looking at me like I'm the person she wants. And me? I'm split down the middle, part of me drowning in guilt, the other part craving the one thing I've never had, being chosen. And the worst part? I don't think I'm ready to give it up. Don't forget to subscribe. The text from Emily sat like a live grenade in my pocket. Sometimes I think I said yes to the wrong brother. I didn't reply. Couldn't. But it was there, lodged in my chest like shrapnel. The next day, Ryan barged into my apartment unannounced again, bouncing with energy. Bro, we're locking down the wedding venue this week. Emily's dragging me to some tasting thing on Saturday, but I told her she can handle all the boring details. That's what women are for, right? He laughed, cracked open one of my sodas without asking, and sprawled on my couch like he owned the place. That was it. The switch flipped. I saw Emily's face in my mind, the way she smiled at me, the way she said she trusted me. Then I saw Ryan, smug, dismissive, treating her like she was an accessory to his ego. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. For the first time, I didn't swallow it down. You ever think maybe she deserves better than you? I asked quietly. Ryan turned, blinking like I'd just spoken in another language. Then he barked out a laugh. Better than me? Don't make me laugh. She'd be nothing without me. You don't get it, Evan. You're the backup singer, not the lead. Always have been. He leaned in, his smirk curling. Hell, she probably pities you. That's why she's nice to you. Everyone pities the useless one. I saw red. My hand curled into a fist, but I forced it open. Instead, I smiled. Small. Dangerous. We'll see. Ryan squinted at me, thrown off, but shrugged it away and went back to bragging about the bachelor party. That night, I made my decision. If he wanted to keep calling me useless, fine. I'd show him what useless could do when nobody was looking. Emily texted again around midnight. Are you awake? My pulse kicked hard. I typed back, yeah. 3 dots appeared, disappeared. Then finally, can we meet tomorrow? Just us. I stared at the screen, my heart thundering. This was it. The line between accident and choice. Between guilt and revenge. The next afternoon, I met her at a coffee shop across town. She looked nervous, tugging at the sleeve of her sweater, eyes darting like she knew she shouldn't be there. Evan, she said softly, I need you to be honest with me. That night, was it you? Not Ryan? Everything inside me screamed to back out, to protect myself, to lie. But then I remembered Ryan laughing in my living room, calling me the backup singer, the pity case. And for the first time in my life, I didn't protect him. Yes, I said. My voice was steady. It was me. Her breath caught, and instead of recoiling, instead of slapping me across the table, Emily's eyes filled with tears. She reached for my hand, and that's when I knew. This wasn't just some misunderstanding anymore. This was war. Emily's fingers slid into mine across the cafe table, soft but trembling. My pulse roared in my ears. She didn't pull away, and neither did I. For a long second, the world outside, the hiss of the espresso machine, the hum of conversation, even the clatter of cups, faded to nothing. Her eyes locked on mine. I knew it, she whispered. It felt too real to be him. Too genuine. My throat was tight. Every instinct screamed that this was a cliff I shouldn't step off. But the part of me that had been buried for years, the part Ryan stomped on with every "you're useless," rose to the surface. It was real, I said. Her lip trembled, and then she squeezed my hand tighter. Not a thank you. Not forgiveness. Something deeper. Something dangerous. We didn't kiss. Not then. But we both knew it was already past the point of return. The fallout started almost immediately. Ryan called me that night, drunk again. Emily's acting weird, he slurred. Keeps zoning out. Says she's stressed about wedding crap. I told her to chill, I got it handled. You know women, they overthink. He laughed, but there was an edge in his voice I hadn't heard before. I muttered something vague and hung up. But over the next week, Emily and we kept meeting. At first, it was accidental, her asking if I could fix something around her apartment, me offering to help carry groceries. Then it was deliberate. A walk at night. Sitting in her car after Ryan dropped her off. And one night, it happened. She kissed me. Quick, urgent, like she couldn't stop herself. I should have pulled away. God, I should have. But I didn't. After that, there was no pretending. Ryan, of course, started noticing. His calls turned sharper. Where were you? I tried calling. Or, Emily's phone died, you know where she was? He asked these questions half laughing, like he wasn't serious. But I could hear the crack in his confidence. The real explosion came at the restaurant. He stormed into the kitchen while I was mid-shift, face red, jaw clenched. "You've been around her too much," he spat. "She talks about you like she trusts you more than me, like you're some goddamn saint. What the hell are you pulling?" My coworkers froze. Pots clattered. I set down the tray in my hands, forcing myself to stay calm. Maybe she just likes having someone who listens to her. The words slipped out like venom, and I swear I watched something break in him. He shoved me hard against the counter. Plates rattled, one cracked on the floor. "You think you're better than me, huh? You think she'd choose you?" I straightened, staring him down. For once, I didn't look away. "I don't think it," I said quietly. "I know it." And that's when Ryan lost it, completely. He grabbed a glass and hurled it across the room, shattering it against the wall. The whole kitchen went dead silent except for his ragged breathing. He didn't say another word, just stormed out, shoulders shaking, leaving chaos in his wake. But I knew then, this wasn't over. Ryan wasn't the type to lick his wounds. He was the type to burn everything down. And if he was going to drag me into war, I wasn't walking in unarmed. Don't forget to subscribe. Update 2. Well, remember how I said Ryan would burn everything down? Yeah. The match has been struck. First off, holy hell, some of y'all were savage in the comments. Half of you called me the world's dumbest homewrecker. The other half said Ryan had it coming since he's been calling me useless since middle school. One guy DM'd me, "Congrats, bro. You're about to star in the family Thanksgiving cage match." Not funny, but also kind of accurate. Here's what's gone down since I last posted. Ryan knows. Not the full truth yet, but enough. He confronted me at the restaurant in front of half the staff, shoved me into a counter and screamed like I'd stolen his car. Told everyone I was trying to steal his fiancée. Didn't outright say what he suspected, but you could see it all over his face. He's spiraling. And Emily? She hasn't exactly been subtle either. She kissed me last week. Full on, no mistake, no oops about it. Afterward, she whispered, "I should have picked you." I wanted to stop time right there, but of course, reality doesn't work like that. So now I'm in the weirdest triangle imaginable. Ryan is spinning out, Emily is drifting closer, and me? I'm somewhere in the middle, torn between guilt and the most intoxicating feeling of my life. For once, I'm not invisible. For once, I'm the one someone depends on. A top comment from my last post said, "Revenge doesn't have to be fire and brimstone. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is just letting them implode while you stand there steady." That line stuck with me. Because Ryan is already unraveling, throwing glasses against walls, screaming in kitchens, accusing shadows. He's exposing himself. And me? For the first time in my life, I'm not running to patch up his mess. I'm letting him burn. I don't know where this ends. Maybe Emily makes her choice. Maybe Ryan snaps before she can. But either way, the days of me being the useless brother are over. One way or another, he's going to see just how dangerous I can be when someone finally does depend on me. Ryan didn't just simmer, he exploded. 2 nights after the restaurant meltdown, I woke up to pounding on my apartment door. 3 in the morning. I stumbled out of bed, heart hammering, and there he was. Ryan, shirt half unbuttoned, reeking of whiskey, fists slamming the wood hard enough to rattle the hinges. "Open the damn door, Evan." His voice was raw, jagged. "Be a man for once." I cracked it just enough to look at him, but the second he saw me, he shoved hard. The door banged against the wall. He stumbled inside, eyes wild, face red. "You think you can steal her from me?" His spit flew as he shouted. "You think you can take everything I built?" My chest tightened, but I forced myself to stay calm. "Ryan, you need to leave. You're drunk." He didn't leave. He grabbed one of my framed sketches off the wall, stuff I'd worked on for years, and smashed it on the floor. Glass everywhere. Then another. Then he kicked over the chair by the window. "Useless, Evan, huh?" he screamed. "Still useless. She's mine. She'll always be mine." I stood frozen, watching him tear through my tiny apartment like a storm. Every crash felt symbolic. Years of him tearing me down now playing out in real time. Finally, I grabbed his arm and shoved back. "Get out," I snapped. My voice didn't sound like mine. It was sharper, louder, almost dangerous. For a moment, he actually looked shocked. Then his expression twisted. He leaned in so close I could smell the liquor on his breath. "You don't get it. She said yes to me. Even if she thinks it was you, it'll always be me." Then he laughed. This hollow, broken laugh that chilled me more than his rage. He staggered out, slamming the door so hard the frame cracked. I stood in the wreckage, my hands shaking. Broken glass glittered on the floor like ice. My breath came in ragged bursts. That was the moment I knew. Ryan wasn't just lashing out. He was unraveling. And unraveling people are dangerous. The next day, Emily called me in tears. Ryan had shown up at her place at 2 a.m., banging on her windows, demanding to be let in. Her neighbor threatened to call the cops before Ryan finally left. "I can't do this anymore," she whispered over the phone. "Evan, I don't feel safe around him. I want to be with you." Hearing those words should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt like standing on the edge of a cliff, the ground crumbling beneath me. Because I knew Ryan. He wasn't going to back down. He wasn't going to lick his wounds quietly. He was going to drag everyone into the fire with him. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of following him into the flames. The end came faster than I thought it would. Louder, messier, crueler, but also, in a way, sweeter. Ryan had been circling the drain for weeks, showing up drunk, yelling in public, smashing things. Word spread fast. His co-workers whispered. Emily's friends stopped inviting him places. Even Mom called me in a panic after he screamed at her over the phone, asking if I could calm him down like I always used to. Not this time. Emily and I made our choice. Quietly, carefully. We started telling the truth to the people who mattered most. Her parents first. I expected them to hate me, to call me a thief. But when Emily told them what had happened, when she said, "It wasn't Ryan I said yes to, it was Evan," her mom just nodded like she already knew. Her dad muttered, "Figures." They'd seen the cracks long before. The final blow came at what was supposed to be Ryan and Emily's engagement party. Some gaudy event Ryan insisted on hosting at a country club, even though Emily begged for something small. Emily told me she wanted it to end there, in the open, no more hiding. So we went. Together. The room was packed with Ryan's friends, his co-workers, people who'd spent years feeding his ego. He strutted around in his blazer, drink in hand, grinning like he owned the place. Then he spotted us. Me, walking in beside Emily. Not behind her, not in the background, beside her. The room went dead quiet. Emily took my hand. Clear, visible, and then she said it, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I'm not marrying you, Ryan. I said yes to Evan." It was like a bomb went off. Gasps, whispers, glasses clinking against tables. Ryan's face twisted, first confusion, then rage, then something almost pitiful. He started shouting, denying it, calling Emily a liar, calling me a thief, screaming that he'd been set up. His voice cracked as he begged, then cursed, then begged again. And then, in front of everyone, he crumbled. He grabbed one of the floral centerpieces and hurled it at the wall, water spraying everywhere. People backed away. Someone pulled out their phone. His boss was there, his friends, our family, everyone watching Ryan disintegrate in real time. Me? I didn't lift a finger to stop it, because that was the sweetest part of it all. After years of being told I was useless, after being shoved into the shadows, Ryan destroyed himself. All I had to do was stand steady, let the truth breathe, and finally let people see him for what he really was. Emily squeezed my hand. Her voice was calm, steady, while Ryan screamed himself hoarse. "You're not useless, Evan. You never were." And for the first time in my life, I believed it.